In this section, we primarily focused on the topics of applications, software, operating systems, as well as artificial intelligence. Let's go over what we covered. We first covered operating systems like Windows, Linux, and Mac OS. Then we went into specific operating system components. We covered kernels, drivers, processes, GUIs versus CLIs. We talked about file systems, including file extensions and attributes, directory management and file management, and we talked all about common system services. Next, we covered many different areas of software. We covered topics including the types of software like productivity software, system software, consumer and business apps, and we also talked about the different types of licensing models for software. No matter what software you're using, odds are you're going to encounter a specific type of cost model that you need to be aware of when you're implementing software at an organizational level. Remember, there's freeware, there's open source, and there's commercial models specifically. Those are the three main ones that you need to understand, especially when you're using software from a business perspective. But just keep in mind, there's so many different types of software out there, so many different types of payment models, including per seat, for an entire organization, per user, monthly, quarterly, yearly payments. There's so many different types of things that you need to be aware of for software from just a pricing or a licensing aspect, and that's a whole topic in itself. But just keep in mind what you learned in this session regarding software licensing, as well as pricing and the general purpose of software. From there, we talked about browsers, and this is by far the easiest topic that we discussed because odds are, if you've used the internet for any amount of time, you've used a browser. If you're using a tablet, laptop, desktop computer, smartphone, any other device that connects to the internet where you can go out and actually search for things, you've probably used a browser. Now, whether you used Firefox or Google Chrome or one of the new fancy artificial intelligence browsers, that depends. But many of these browsers have extremely similar configurations, and we covered all of that and more. We talked about the different areas within a browser, including browser history, browser cache, browser cookies. We talked about the different browser extensions and add-ons. We talked about pop-up blockers. We covered a lot of different subjects as far as browsers go. Lastly, we covered artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence uses. So we talked about when artificial intelligence is actually used, what it is, some of the most common artificial intelligence products out there, and we talked about some of the more artificial intelligence specific topics that you need to know for the Tech Plus. Overall, there's a few different topics that we discussed here, mainly 4 different topics, and you need to understand each of these for the Tech Plus exam. Most of these you understand from a conceptual level, so don't focus on learning these super in depth. For example, you're not going to get a question on the Tech Plus that says something like, here's Microsoft Edge or here's Internet Explorer. Go in and clear the entire web browser history and make sure that the cache is completely cleared and that there's no cookies. You're going to get more conceptual questions. You might see a few graphic-based images that ask you to identify something, but you're not going to need to know these topics at an extremely in-depth level from a hands-on view. Focus more on understanding these from a conceptual level and being able to identify, understand, and explain these questions, or rather these topics for the Tech Plus questions. And that's it for this video. In the next video, we're going to be covering section 4 on software development and all aspects of software as it relates to programming, coding, and overall software development. I'll see you in the next section.